welcome to this video, and we're going to show you the ingredients that we use for cream or lotion making. Okay, so let's run through them. So first of all, we need a solvent or a diluent, which is distilled water. In skincare, we always use distilled water because that is the right and appropriate water to use for cosmetic products. The next product we have here, so you can see this is a distilled water. Okay, it was manufactured professionally. Then the next we have vegetable glycerin. So this is glycerin. It has a thicker consistency compared to water, because another thing you're going to have to do is to ensure that you can look at your ingredients and see that this is glycerin, this is water, this is not glycerin. Okay, so glycerin is a bit thick, it's thicker than water if you look at the consistency. So that's glycerin. Okay, then the next one we have emulsifying wax. Okay, so this is what we call emulsifying wax. All right, which is an emulsifier. All right, so the next one we have is cetyl alcohol. This is a co-emulsifier. So for cream or lotion making, you need an emulsifier. This is one type of emulsifier. There are so many types, and you also need a co-emulsifier. Okay, so if you look at these two beads, you see that they are slightly different. This one has that snowish effect. It's purer, it's whiter compared to this. Okay, but they usually come in these various beads form. Then next we have our shea butter. We have our ori. So your shea butter can either be in this kind of color or in ivory color, depending on the variety of the shea nut and where it was produced. It will also determine the color. So some come in ivory and some come in this yellowish color. Okay, so this is shea butter from Yoruba lands. Next we have our sunflower oil. So this is sunflower oil. Is usually looks like this, very light golden color. Okay, the next we have is our Germal Plus, which is one type of preservative. There are so many types of preservative. We have Optifem, we have various types, but this is a preservative, which Germal Plus, which is called Germal Plus. So that's one type of preservative, and it has this thick consistency like glycerin. Okay, has a very thick consistency like glycerin. So the next one is this is a fragrance oil. So this is a fragrance oil. Okay, and so we can either use essential oils or fragrance oils, depending on who we're making it for, what we want to achieve. So this, usually for essential oils, they come in these bottles, and any supplier, some suppliers also supply their fragrance oils in this type of bottle, because this, for instance, is a fragrance oil. And the reason why it is kept in this kind of bottle is to ensure that it stays fresh. Because, for instance, most essential oils come in dark amber bottles, because you want to preserve the essential oils so that it performs its effectiveness when you use it in your product. Okay, so if you look at the way I lined up these ingredients, we're going to go through different phases in producing the cream or lotion we're making. So this, for instance, is what we're using in the first phase. That's the distilled water and the glycerin. Okay, the next phase is the oil phase. If you look at this, all these are oils and butters. These are oils. Okay, emulsifying wax, cetyl alcohol, which is a co-emulsifier. So we need the combination of an emulsifier and a co-emulsifier. Then the next we are also, so this is called an occlusive, various oils. So we can use different oils. Oils are usually called occlusives, and you have to usually combine them, you know, with emollients. So this is an example of an emollient. Shea butter is an emollient or a moisturizer. You know, if you Google it, you know, you will either see emollient or moisturizers. So shea butter is a type of emollient. Okay, so this is the second phase, our various oils and butters. Okay, so this is our second phase, right? Then the next phase is the third phase. So this is phase A, phase B, and phase C. Okay, where we have our preservative and our fragrance oil or essential oil. Okay, so we have 3 phases we're going to be working with. All right, so see you in the next video. So let's go to some of the equipment that we need. We need our various measuring cups. So if you look at this is up to 500 ml. Okay, we have our various measuring cups. Then we have our measuring scale. It's very important to use measurement. Very important. So this scale, for instance, measures from 1 to 5 kg. There are different types of scales. There are some scales that measure 0.0, but this one measures 0 to 5 kg. And when you're using a scale, for instance, when you want to measure something, you put the container of what you want to measure on it first, then you put it on. Okay, so it starts from 0. So whatever you pour on it will start reading, you know, when you start pouring. But for instance, let's do this. So for instance, I put it on. It's on 0, and then I have this. You can see that this measures 17 grams. So for instance, if I start pouring my glycerine, it will read, you know, the amount of glycerine plus this cup. So it's important to always start from 0. All right, and better still, another way is to also make sure you measure the container of whatever it is you're using. Okay, you can measure your cup to know how much it is, so that just in case anything happens during production, you can always deduct or subtract. Next, we have our measuring spoons. There are various measurements. So we have, this is 30 ml. This is 1/8 of a cup. This is how many ml? This is 1 tablespoon. That's 15 ml. Also, this is 1 teaspoon, which is 7.5 ml. Okay, next, this is one very important thing to have. It's like a disinfectant. So I usually use this to clean the surfaces, or to clean, you know, to disinfect whatever it is I'm using, you know, after washing sometimes, you know. So alcohol is a very important tool in production, because before I put all this on this surface, I had to disinfect the whole surface. So all these things have been washed and dried. They have all been washed and dried. My scale is clean. Everything has to be clean. It's very important. So we need our measuring equipment, our measuring scale, our measuring cups, you know, our measuring spoons. So that's about some of the equipment that we need. So let's go to the next video.